Greetings, everyone. This is Terry Naturally with another edition of Terry Talks Nutrition. I'm here every weekend waiting for you to join me. We can spend an hour together to discuss how we can be healthier together. You know, it's all up to us. What we do every day determines our health. Whether it's good or bad. It's not bad luck. It's not good luck. It's not because God loves us better. It depends on what we do and the choices we make. That's the bottom line. The diet you choose determines your health. And do you exercise? That also makes an impact. Do you sleep 7 to 9 hours a night? Are you taking care of yourself? How do you make sure that you are building a quality of life for the rest of your life? We are not going to live to be 120. I don't know if that'll ever happen. Whether or not you live 60, 70, 80, 90 years, we all want to live good before we go. So I'm here to help you understand more about what you can do to have better health. And today we have a lot of topics on how to reduce blood sugar levels. 30 to 40 million people in the U.S. are type 2 diabetics. 100 million people in the United States are pre-diabetics. What can we do about it? What will help? You don't want to take drugs for a condition that is optional. You don't have to have a high blood sugar level. You actually don't need drugs. But I'm not going to tell you not to take drugs. That's up to you and your doctor. And don't get ripped off by Amazon. Talk to you more about that later. And kids' health report card. Let's report on kids regarding their health. And the new herb for women. What is the herb that we would want to use if we were a female? And here's an update on statin drugs. Oh my God. Statin drugs will be around a long, long time because they have everybody scared about cholesterol levels. It's nonsense. It's the biggest ripoff in medical history. So this is one of my favorite topics to talk about. And yes, we should not eat sugar. But artificial sweeteners actually make you feel hungry. And let me remind you about one of my favorite topics, extra virgin olive oil. That is a super food. As Mary Flynn said, after 30 years of research on olive oil, I believe it is the only food that can prevent, reverse, cure every major disease known to humans. You have neck, back, and hip pain. How do we reduce the risk of heart disease? For one thing, men need to exercise more. But we'll talk about all these topics and more if we have time. So let's get started talking about some of these topics. Here are some very scary statistics about diabetes. If the current trends continue, the rate of diabetes in young people would increase by 700% by the year 2060. And I don't see anything changing. So you can look forward to be a diabetic by 2060. Young people will have an increase of diabetes by 700%. 1 in 3 Americans born in 2000 or after will eventually have a diagnosis of diabetes. You don't have to. It's not a disease. It's a metabolic disorder. We bring it on by the food we eat. Every 24 hours, there are 238 amputations in people with diabetes. In 24 hours, 120 people who enter end-stage kidney disease programs, and 48 people will go blind. These are some very scary statistics. Do you want to be a statistic, or do you want to change your health? And the cure for diabetes is an herb native to Mexico and Central America. It is known in Europe and has been in Europe for a long time, especially in Germany. And I believe it's been over, I don't recall exactly, but I'm going to say at least 60 years as a treatment for diabetes. Ideal for people with pre-diabetes, fasting blood sugar levels between 100 and 125. And A1C. Oh, you'll see all the drugs that are lowering A1C. You can do that with an herb. And they should be levels of 5.7 to 6.4. Now, the A1C gives you a picture of your blood sugar level over a period of months. Not just a one-time shot, but over a period of months. And this herb is called Hintonia lactiflora. Let me spell that for you. H like in Harry. I-N like Nancy. T like Tom. O-N-I-A. Hintonia lactiflora. L like Leonard. A like Apple. T like Tom. I. F like Frank. L-O-R-A. Hintonia lactiflora. Very tiny reductions, but very, very big benefits. Just think about this. This is something you should know, because you might then want to make reductions in your blood sugar level. A 1%, that's so small, a 1% decrease in A1C can lead to a 19% reduction in the risk of cataracts, a 16% reduction in the risk of heart failure, and a 43% less risk of amputation or death from peripheral vascular disease. Friends, diabetes is not a disease. Type 1 is. It's caused by an autoimmune disease. So type 1 is diabetes. Type 2 is only because of what you're eating. Stop eating carbohydrates and sugar. And all the carbohydrates and starch converts to sugar, like a white potato. Raises blood sugar levels more than a candy bar. Oh, now don't go out and get a candy bar. But I'm just telling you that we eat foods that raise our blood sugar levels substantially. And if the doctor just does a blood test and says, oh, your blood sugar level is too high, you can bring that down in a matter of months. Sometimes in just weeks. But A1C shows what happens to your blood sugar level over a matter of months. But you can be free of type 2 diabetes. If you're taking drugs, that's your choice. But you don't have to. I'm not taking the place of a doctor. I'm not a doctor. Just got to read the science. When you eat sugar, excessive carbohydrates, and especially refined carbohydrates, your blood sugar level goes up high. The doctor looks at it and says, oh, your blood sugar level is too high. We're going to put you on medication. You don't need medication. You need a change of diet. So type 2 diabetes is optional. It's your choice. Because you do not make changes in your diet, you will continue to have high blood sugar levels. So what's the research on this herb called Hintonia? In this study that we dug up, 41 people with type 2 diabetes were given the herb Hintonia extract or Hintonia lactiflora extract with a small amount of essential vitamins and minerals, including B vitamins and zinc. 1 capsule twice a day before meals for 6 months. And the result of this study, 11% decrease in A1C levels, a 25% reduction in fasting glucose levels, and a 22% reduction in blood sugar level spikes after eating. And this research goes back to 1950. Consistently documents beneficial effects of Hintonia in reducing blood sugar levels. My friends, you don't need to take drugs that have side effects. You can take natural herbal medicines that have the same effects as drugs without the side effects or adverse events. So what should you know about Hintonia? Well, first of all, there are no side effects. Extremely safe. Research going back over 60 years has found it is very well tolerated with no significant adverse effects. And the sooner it is used, the better it works. The younger you are, the better that it works. Don't wait until you have type 2 diabetes, but you should be reducing your sugar and your carbohydrates. Just jump on the bandwagon, adopt a ketogenic diet. It's a low-carb diet. And that's what we need to do because our American diet is very, very high in carbs and sugar. And why do you think we have so many diabetics? And best results we're seeing in people with mild to moderate increase in blood sugar levels. In clinical trials, Hintonia was used safely in combination with insulin or oral diabetic medication, but always keep your doctor informed. So the dosage is 100 milligrams of Hintonia, 1 to 3 times daily. And this formulation of 100 milligrams of Hintonia is combined with essential vitamins and minerals that help lower blood sugar levels safely. So you can make a choice. You can be completely free of type 2 diabetes. It's not a disease. It's not something that requires medication, requires drugs. And you can change it just by changing your diet. Get rid of the sugar. Okay. You can do that anytime you want. You can become a non-diabetic in a matter of weeks to months. No drugs necessary. And now, don't get ripped off on Amazon. Beware when buying online. Why? Well, researchers have found that 7 out of 10 consumers have been fooled into buying a fake product online. Amazon does not look at the quality of a product or what's in the product or how the product works or if this product is safe or if the product has adverse events. They only look at the language that surrounds a product. They don't care what they sell. Truly. They don't monitor anything that they sell. You can sell anything you want online. And people are doing it all the time. They're selling counterfeit products. And they look like those products are legitimate. But there are very small flaws in the language that they have on packaging, because most of these products come out of China and Pakistan. And so they don't know the English language. So the estimates on the amount of counterfeit products on Amazon range from 10% to as much as 60%, which means millions and millions of fake products online. You can't trust online unless you go to a good online source, like iHerb. Cosmetics, clothes, electronics, and even vitamins are fake on Amazon. In a recent evaluation of berberine, a beautiful plant that comes from golden seal, Oregon grape, it's a beautiful alkaloid, very deep yellow color that is extracted from these plants. And these products are sold like crazy on Amazon. And almost half, over 50%, had barely any berberine. They all had less than 10% of what the label said was in the product. And get this, if you're buying gummy products of berberine, they were the worst. They had 0 berberine detected. You've got to buy from a legitimate source. You've got to buy a brand that you can trust. A brand that works, that gives results. And even storefronts that have the Amazon Choice logo and higher consumer ratings can't always be trusted. And you know what? Ratings are bought. They'll have testimonials, and they pay them $1 for a testimonial. So you can say anything you want about a product. Don't trust reviews. They can be faked as well. This is a terrible way to buy products because nobody cares what you're selling. Now here are some tips not to get ripped off. A crazy low price is a red flag. You're not saving money. You're paying a lot of money no matter how low it is, how low the price is. You're paying more than you should for the product that doesn't have anything in it. The cheapest price is the lowest price that doesn't work. Do you recognize the name of the product or the seller? Do the reviews mention problems with fakes? Because any product can be taken off the review list. Can the product be returned? Read the fine print carefully. To minimize the chances of being scammed, it's all the time. I get emails all the time from people that I don't know that tell me that I need to look at my bills because I'm not paying my bills, or I need to sign this document. It's a DocuSign. And they're all scams. You've got to be very careful. Buy directly from your favorite brands. Or better yet, pay a visit to your local health food store and shop in person. Ask questions. And after you've asked your questions, don't go out online and buy the product. The people in the health food store are very well educated. They know how to buy products. And they're there to help you. Don't disrespect the health food store owners by picking their brains for a half hour and then buying it online. Buy from your local health food store that's right in your community. They're the ones that are going to pay you back in big dividends by helping you understand the product, how it works, and how it can give you better benefits. Now let's talk about kids for a moment. What about a health report on kids? Well, unfortunately, I'm so sorry to say it, but kids today are less healthy than ever. Less healthy. Kids with diseases that were once thought that would only affect the elderly. Kids have the elderly diseases. Kids are aging faster than ever. And the researchers compared health data from kids collected over about 16-year period. They found that versus a child in 2007 and a child in 2023, and here's the facts. 15 to 20% more likely to have a mental health problem. 15 to 20%. Mental health problems were found in the elderly. Conditions like anxiety, depression, and all can be treated successfully with natural medicines. They're more likely to be overweight, or in fact, 18% of children are obese, grossly overweight. What is going to happen to those kids as they age? And they are more likely to report poor sleep, pain, loneliness, anxiousness, depression. Not a very good picture for kids growing up today. Kids were so much healthier in the 50s, 60s, and early 70s. Let's go back to those days where we can be proud of the way our kids are protected from diseases and harm. Now here's a new hot herb for women. And the herb is saffron. S like Sam. A-F-F-R-O-N. Saffron. What are the health benefits of saffron? It's the most expensive spice in the world. It takes 10,000 flowers to make an ounce of the spice. That's why it's so expensive. Saffron is not new. As a spice, it has been used in foods for thousands and thousands of years. As a medicine, there has been a major spike in research on saffron in just the last 5 years, especially regarding the ability of saffron to improve mood, reduce anxiety and depression. Clinical research is showing that saffron is particularly effective for menopausal women and postmenopausal women. And here's some results that have been reported recently in the science and the research on saffron. 33% reduction in anxiety. A 32% reduction in depression. 70% reduction in negative impact of hot flashes on daily life, including better sleep, better mood, better concentration, better attitude. In clinical studies, saffron extract reduced snacking and emotional eating and increased weight loss. In a study of mildly overweight women, saffron taken twice daily decreased snacking by 55% versus placebo. Now, I need to take a break. We have a few seconds before we go into the second half of our program. So I'll pause here for a moment. I'm not gone. I'm not going anywhere. You come on back right here. We'll be here to talk more about saffron and what you can do about it. And remember, I'm Terry Naturally, and this is Terry Talks Nutrition. Go to my website, terrytalksnutrition.com. Sign up for my newsletter, and you can find a lot more information on my website than just this hour. I'll be back right after this. Come on back. I'll be back. And welcome back, my friends. Thank you for joining me again. We'll be here to the top of the hour. Lots more information coming your way. This is really, really profound information that can make your life better. We talked about saffron. Here's some of the interesting statistics on saffron. Results reported using saffron for women: 33% reduction in anxiety, 32% reduction in depression, 70% reduction in negative impact of hot flashes on daily life, including better sleep, better mood, better concentration, better attitude. In clinical studies, saffron extract reduced snacking and emotional eating, increased weight loss. And in another study of mildly overweight women, saffron taken twice daily decreased the need to snack or binge eating by 55% versus placebo. Now, how do you use it? Well, in clinical studies, saffron paired with curcumin effectively reduced the symptoms of depression. The curcumin that was used in the study was blended with turmeric essential oil. Why do they add turmeric essential oil to curcumin? Curcumin is a very difficult molecule to be absorbed systemically in the body, in the bloodstream. But by adding turmeric essential oil, it increases the absorption of curcumin by 700%. And it's very effective reducing the symptoms of depression. Now the dosage that was found the most effective: 265 milligrams of saffron and curcumin together. This is a clinical proven dosage level. This is a daily dosage. Now the benefits: for a better mood, better sleep, better attitude, reduction of depression and anxiety, was in 2 weeks or less, with no side effects, no adverse events, but you have to choose carefully. Because saffron is so expensive, it is easily and frequently faked, put into a product that is adulterated. They tell you that saffron is in the product, and products that have been tested show no saffron because it's so expensive. They want to reduce the price. How do they reduce saffron with an alternative or an adulteration? They use plain turmeric or paprika or beet, B-E-E-T, daylily, or even synthetic saffron are substituted for the real thing. And that's why be careful on Amazon. You need to buy from a trusted branded name. Oh, no, here's one of my favorite subjects. Statin drugs. Statin drugs are used to lower your cholesterol. I just can't believe that scientists, doctors, medical community want to lower your cholesterol. Our body has a mechanism of action that produces cholesterol every day. Now my belief is that God created my body. I didn't come from nowhere. So when God created my body, or nature, or whoever you believe, that there is a mechanism of action in our bodies that produce cholesterol every day. And why do we want cholesterol produced every day? Because it makes all of our hormones, male and female. It produces vitamin D, which is a very important vitamin D3 natural. And you know, we've had the statin drugs in use for about probably maybe 40 years or less. And you know that we have had Alzheimer's disease in about the same period of time? Because the brain is only weighs 2% of the body weight. But it uses 25% of the cholesterol produced every day. Now, many years ago, doctors believed that our cholesterol levels should be around 300. Yeah, nice, great. Then they dropped it to 240. Then they dropped it to under 200. And I've heard some doctors say, lower and lower the better. That is insane. Absolutely insane. Because we need cholesterol every day, and that's why the body makes it every day. There's nothing wrong with high cholesterol. Although we want a high HDL, we want a very low triglyceride level, but there's nothing wrong with having a cholesterol level. Why did they lower it from 300 to under 200? Because the lower you lower it, that includes more of the population of the United States that then could be said they need statin drugs. If you sold a product to 20 people in your city, but you told them a lie, that 1,000 or 20,000 or 40,000 people would believe, then you'd be able to sell more of your product. And that's what the drug companies are doing. They're lowering the cholesterol levels arbitrarily. So there are more people in the United States than that then could be said, oh, they need statin drugs. There are drugs in America. The number one drug in America by number of prescriptions written is the cholesterol drug called Lipitor. The number one drug by number of prescriptions written. And this is one of the top cholesterol lowering drugs. Over 115 million prescriptions for this drug are written every year. Side effects: severe muscle pain, pain that does not go away even if you stop taking the drug. You'll be saddled with pain for the rest of your life. Digestive issues, fatigue, dizziness, sleep problems, memory problems, and an increased risk of diabetes. Now, I'm not making this up. These are facts taken off the leaflets that accompany the drugs. And the standard use of statin drugs over time has been reported to increase the risk of type 2 diabetes by about 10%. And a newly published study reports that higher the statin dose, the greater the risk. And for people with already elevated blood sugar levels, statin drugs use and then tip them over the line to diabetes. So now you have two so-called diseases. And both of them do not need any medication. Cholesterol does not cause heart disease. The number one problem with heart disease and cholesterol is the fat called triglycerides. Triglycerides are a fat that is produced from too much carbohydrates and sugar. And this fat causes heart disease, not cholesterol. Cholesterol is very healthy. It makes all of our hormones. It protects the brain. Also makes vitamin D3, the natural source of vitamin D. Really, do statin drugs prevent heart disease? Well, we studied what doctors were saying. Researchers combined the data from 21 clinical trials on statin drugs, including over 140,000 participants. They focused on two questions. Does lowering LDL cholesterol as much as possible significantly reduce the risk of heart disease? And how do the benefits of statin drugs compare to the risk? Now, after those questions were asked, they did their research and the results of their study. Connection between LDL and heart disease risk was extremely weak. Overall reduction in absolute risk of dying from a heart attack or stroke was about 1%. 1%. But now you have robbed your body of the production of hormones if you have taken a statin drug. And one of the most beneficial nutrient to maintain heart health is CoQ10. Now, the same enzyme system that statin drugs block to make less cholesterol is the same enzyme system that manufactures CoQ10. So only a 1% reduction of a heart attack or stroke, overall reduction, absolute risk is totally insane. For women with slightly elevated cholesterol levels and blood pressure, but no other health issues, their reduction in risk of dying of heart disease is reduced from 1.4 to 1.3 when taking a statin drug. More people die. And this is a fact. This is a statistic. More people die having low cholesterol than having high cholesterol. Because cholesterol protects our body. It manufactures our hormones regularly and on time. And also protects our heart. And saturated fat is not bad. In the early 1900s, up to the 1950s, when they invented the statin drugs, Everybody ate saturated fat. It was healthy. I would not give up anything that has cholesterol. I eat plenty of eggs. I probably average, on the average, I consume probably 6 to 8 eggs a day, on average. I have a steak almost every night for dinner. I feel really fantastic at my age of yes, you're right. At that age, I feel fantastic. I feel wonderful. I've got more energy. I have more strength. I have more muscle tone than I did when I was younger, when I was eating carbohydrates and sugar. I'm stronger and healthier and more fit than I was many years ago. And statin drugs take all that away and create pain. Some pain so severe it'll never ever go away. Even if you stop the statin drugs, it's going to cause more harm, more damage, and has no value whatsoever. It's the biggest medical scam in history. Because they want so many people on it, because it causes more disease that can be treated by drugs. That's a way to make a market. Screw up your patient so you can treat them for more diseases than they already have. That's what they're doing. Now let's talk about sugar. Well, not really sugar. Artificial sugar makes you hungry. More research. In a clinical study with healthy adults, researchers compared the effects of drinks sweetened with sugar, known as sucrose, versus artificial sugar, called sucralose, which is 600 times sweeter than sugar. The artificial sweetened drink increased blood flow to the areas of the brain associated with appetite and decreased levels of hormones that tell you to stop eating. You're overeating. We have hormones that tell us to stop eating. We screw them up too with statin drugs. 50% of Americans are obese, grossly overweight. 18% of children were eating an artificial, ultra-processed diet. And when the participants were offered a snack buffet after the test, the women who had artificial sweetened drinks ate more off the buffet than women who had the sugar sweetened drinks. That doesn't say you should eat sugar. But the artificial sweeteners are even worse than sugar. So give up sugar and all the artificial sweeteners. I know it's tough. I really do. But it doesn't mean you can't do it. I don't use any sugar. I don't eat anything with sugar. I don't eat any artificial sweeteners. And these results confirm previous research which found that people who drank more than 21 diet drinks per week were twice as likely to become overweight and obese as people who didn't drink the diet soda. Artificial sweeteners trick the brain. They trigger taste receptors, but don't deliver calories. Therefore, the food craving doesn't go away. So avoid sugar. Yes, absolutely. Sugar does not cause death or disease, but it changes the chemistry of the body, along with insulin, to create all kinds of diseases. So it's just not getting rid of the sweets. It's getting rid of disease. Sugar is a cause of most diseases over a period of time. Now, I only have a short time before I leave you today, and I want to talk about one of my most favorite topics. Extra virgin olive oil. What are the benefits? What are the health benefits of extra virgin olive oil? As I mentioned, Dr. Mary Flynn, professor at Boston University, has been studying olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, for 30 years. She's one of the top experts in the world. And I'm going to paraphrase what she said, because I don't remember exactly how she said it, but she said, olive oil is the only food, it's a food that can reverse, prevent, and cure every major disease known to humans. Now, extra virgin olive oil alone can extend your life. And people who consume the most olive oil, more than a half tablespoon a day, now listen to this, we're less likely to die from any cause. We hardly use olive oil in the U.S. Oh, I put it on my salad. Oh, yeah, big deal. Come on. I want you to put it on your salad, but I also want you to take it off of a tablespoon. I want you to drink olive oil. In the Mediterranean countries, where they have less heart disease, less heart attacks, all across the board, less cancer, they consume up to a quarter of a cup to a half cup to a cup of olive oil a day. They consume 21 liters per year. Each individual. In the United States, we consume a half a liter per year, per individual. Now, just by having a little bit more than a tablespoon, let's say, take a tablespoon. Don't mess around with a half a tablespoon. Take a tablespoon. They were less likely to die from any cause. They did not get heart disease or have high blood pressure. They did not have a high risk of experiencing a stroke. The risk of cancer and lung disease dropped significantly after taking olive oil. They did not suffer from Alzheimer's disease or dementia. So these are the good things that we want to learn so we can make some changes. Now here again are some olive oils I use myself that you may want to try. The best one I recommend to everybody is from a company that's called Cured, but it's spelled K like kick, Kyoord. And buy their premium, called the Governor, high phenolic olive oil. It's from Greece. They have two kinds. The Governor Premium, which comes in a plain glass bottle, and the Cured, Kyoord, is in a very fancy white bottle. Now you're taking a premium olive oil, so you can take less. But I don't like to tell you to take less, because more is better. There's also the Desert Miracle Extra Olive Oil and the Moroccan Gold Olive Oil and Lucchini, Everyday Organic Extra Olive Oil, first cold press and Italian. The best oil I have searched around the world is from Greece. It's phenomenal. I talked to a gentleman in Greece when I was there, and we were having a coffee. And I said, tell me about your olive oil. Well, he said, our family has an orchard of 700 trees. Still owned by the family, still owned by my father. And my father was in his 50s, diagnosed with stomach cancer. The doctor told him to drink a cup of olive oil first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. And then he could have his breakfast 30 minutes later and his coffee 20 minutes after his breakfast. He says, my father now is 95 and still goes out in the orchards and work. Olive oil is an amazing plant, an amazing fruit, amazing oil. Don't just drizzle it on your salad. Yes, you can do that too. You can cook with it. It's a better oil to cook with than any other oil. Believe me. I don't have time to go into that. But I scramble all my eggs in olive oil. And then I put on all kinds of turmeric spice. I love, eggs are one of my top foods for the biological value of proteins, fats, and vitamins and minerals. We get more vitamins and minerals from meat and eggs than any other combination. But top that off with olive oil. Well, that's it, my friends. I'm all out of time for this hour. But I'll be back again, same time, same station. You'll find me here every weekend. So say a prayer for this crazy, crazy world. And God bless you, my dear friends. God bless this great country.
Thank you for listening to Terry Talks Nutrition Weekly Show. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform, including Apple, Google, and iHeartRadio.